Hey guys, how's it going? Let me go ahead and set up this room real quick and then we can get started. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. I sure did. Enjoying my profits from like the past couple of weeks now, but I'm ready to get back on the charts and lock in some more profits. So we're entering March week 2. Hopefully you guys locked in a lot of profits with us last week. It was a great week for everyone, I believe. So I think everyone closed out in profit last week. I mean, there's no reason for you not to if you were copying, all of my trades. So we're going to go ahead and redraw these zones on the chart once I have everything set up, and then we are going to kick off this this trading week. So we have one trade here that's possibly available for the Forex market, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it's still good before we actually take it and before I call the trade. So let me just finish setting up this room real quick. Once I'm done setting it up, I'll send the link out to you guys, and then we can get started. All right, so I think everything is good. Let me just make sure everything is cool here. All right, cool. Looks like people are slowly making their way in. Activated the chat. Let me just send this link out real quick. All right, so the links look good. Let me just go ahead and send this out to everyone else real quick, post it on our social media, and then we should be good to go, guys. Let me send this email out to everyone as well. I got that email sent out. Let me just get these links posted on the social media real quick, and I think that's about it, guys. And I'll get that Zoom link for you guys as well. So give me 1 second. Let me just finish posting everything up. We should be good. Let me just post this up to our Instagram as well. All right, screenshot that, save the link, post it to our IG real quick. All right, cool. Looks like the links are all sent out, guys. Let me get that Zoom link for you guys here in the premium. And then I think we should be good to go. So let me copy that link over. Send this over to you guys in the premium group. Nice. Looks like CT just sent me a chart for NASDAQ. So I'll check that out real quick. All right, there's a Zoom link for you guys as well. Let's see what CT was looking at over here. So it looks like CT is looking for a long position on NASDAQ. I'll take a look at that as well. So he does have a scalp set up here on the 10-minute. I'll take a look at that and see how that looks. And we'll see. So let me just get that link going. Let me get that analysis going for you guys real quick. Actually, let me check this real quick for odd JPY. Since I might be calling this for you guys here. Let me just check the index for this real quick. So let's see. So odd JPY, AXY, and JXY. I mean, they both look bullish here. I mean, they both look bearish. So this might just go sideways for a bit right here. Let me check real quick. Let me see the other Aussie pairs. These are all somewhat bullish. So I don't think I'm going to call that trade yet, but this is like the only one that I see active right now for Forex, on the 4-hour chart. So I'm probably going to hold off on this. I know the market's just opening, so volatility is super low, and it's just market's just slow right now. It's just how the market moves on market open. So I'm probably not going to call this, but if you guys do want to take this trade, this is going to be a valid entry. It's just a risky one because the market is barely opening right now. So I'm probably not going to call this, but this is something I did mark up for a possible entry. Same for this one right here as well for CAD CHF. So these are two, possible buy entries right here if you guys wanted to take them, but I'm not going to call them because they're just too risky right now. And if you guys are familiar with how I trade, I obviously only like to take trades that I'm almost like 100% certain they're going to hit. So I'm not going to call this right here, but this technically would be a valid buy entry using the K2SR strategy. So, that's it for that. I'm going to go through the entire list, guys, and I'm going to mark up the entire chart so I can draw my zones for this week. And then after that, I'm going to start looking for some scalps here. CT did send me his chart right here. He's looking for a buy off the NASDAQ. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that real quick. And then I'll check the chat to see who's in here. So let me go ahead and just draw up my zones real quick. So this is what CT identified on his chart. So he identified this rejection off the pivot and the structure right there. So he was looking to enter a buy position, or actually it looks like it actually started over here. So market opened, let's see, on the 7th right here. So market opened right here. It came down. Looks like there was no entries here because this pivot touched the body. There was nothing there because this red candle touched the zone, but it didn't reject off the pivot. So the first entry would actually be right here off this green candle right here. This is one that CT actually marked up. You can see here, he sent me a message with his markup right here. So he did look at that buy there, and it looks like it's technically in profit and pushing upward. So it looks like a good entry on that point. I just haven't, I didn't take the trade obviously, but this is something that CT was looking at. So if that's the case, it looks like it's in profit and almost to full TP right there. So this looks good for the NASDAQ. This is one that CT just sent me over through Telegram, and I just saw his chart mark right here. So it looks pretty solid to me. Yeah, it's about to hit full TP. So if you guys caught this scalp here for the NASDAQ, it looks like it's about to hit full TP right there. I'll go down the indices first before I go through the Forex pairs, because the Forex pairs are obviously going to take a lot longer. And then I will, I'll probably be looking for, oh yeah, thanks Ivan. So Ivan just mentioned to update the chart info. So it's US 100. See, US 100. Thanks, Ivan. So I'm just going to change my charts real quick because Ivan just reminded me that I was using the wrong chart data. So there we go. There we go, Ivan. I got the proper data on, and I think it lines up the same. So it's not really much of a big difference. So it's still the same exact entry. Sometimes it's a little different, but it's better to use the proper data points when identifying these trades. But yeah, I've been just looking at this here, same entry. So regardless whether you were using Awanda data or currency.com, it still would have been the same buy entry right over here. And it looks like it would have hit full TP. Either way, if you, or on its way to full TP, if you took either one. So that looks fine there. I'm going to go down all of the indices real quick just to see what's going on here. And then I'm going to go down the Forex pairs. So looking at the Aussie 200 here, I'm just going to see if there was any entries that were available since market open. Looks like no entries here. The closest zone is going to be like right there. And the next one's going to be down here. So for the Aussie 200, looks like there were no entries today so far. The market opened right over here and nothing is rejected off that point. So when price comes down, there might be some entries, but at the specific point in time, there's just no entries for that specific pair. So let's go over here. Oh yeah, CT said a bit too slow for me. I agree. CT, the market's just too slow right now. So I'm not really looking for any trades. I'm just here to mark up my zones for the week and answer any questions if there are any questions here. But, overall the market's just too slow right now because everything is barely, opening up right now. So looks like if you took the China 50, this looks like it might have hit your TP. If you took this entry right here, this green candle, since there was a rejection off the pivot and the structure there. So if you took this trade here, not sure your sweet spot would be, but depending on how tight or how small it was, if it was like 500, it looks like you would hit TP right there. But who knows? I don't trade China 50. I just look at this when people ask me, to look at this specific asset, but I personally don't trade it myself. So I really don't know what the sweet spot is for that one. Looking here at the Spain 35, let's see if there's any scalp entries that were available within the the previous couple minutes. So let's see. All right, so looking at this here, it doesn't look like there was any entries for the Spain 35 since open. So market opened right here, or actually this one hasn't even opened yet. So we're not going to look at this. The market hasn't opened for the Spain 35 yet. So you can see that the timestamp right here is on March 5th. So there's no entries available for there yet. Same with the France 40, no entries there yet. So we're not going to bother looking at that. Looking at the DAX 30 right here, let's see if there was any entries that were available on this one. Looks like there was possibly some sell entries that obviously set up here for the DAX. So let me just check this out real quick. Yeah, it looks like this one has updated. So looking at the DAX 30 right now, there were some entries right over here. So let me just turn this off. All right, so the market opened right over here on the screen candle. So just looking at this come down, and this is why we don't enter trades like right when the market opens, because obviously there's like a ton of choppiness here, right? So on the market close on Friday, there was a big push here, obviously because it was NFP. So a big push up here, and then now it's just correcting back down. So this is why we wouldn't want to enter any trades just yet. Market's just too slow. We don't want to enter right when it opens, because after this big move right here, it looks like price is trying to correct back downwards. So this is why we wait a bit for volatility to pick up. Looking at the NSA, there's not really much here either. You can see obviously there's barely been any movement. If I turn on the zones real quick, let's see. Yeah, no entries, because we do have a rejection off this point. I mean, technically this could have been a sell entry, but like I mentioned, this is why we don't enter trades right when the market opens. We like to give it at least like 4 hours or so for the market to smoothen out, because it's doing the same thing. So looking at the DAX, the same thing's happening here. Price pushed up because of NFP last week right here. So from 8 o'clock up until the market close, it just pushed up heavily. Now it's coming back down. So I wouldn't trade yet, guys. I would wait for a bit before you guys enter these trades. And like I mentioned, this session here is meant for me to draw these zones so that we can identify trades for the week, not necessarily, hop into trades right away, because the market's just going to keep bouncing around until everything stabilizes. Keep in mind that last week was NFP, so there was a lot of like heavy movements. So this week could be a correction week, or it can be a continuation week. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. But like I mentioned, it's just too risky for us to take any trades right now, because you guys can end up in a lot of whipsaws with price bouncing back and forth. So UK 100, nothing there. S&P real quick. Let's see if there's anything here. Yeah, not really. Market opened right here. The closest zone is right here. So there's been no entries that are available for that. The NASDAQ that I mentioned right here, this is the one that CT was looking at, but he mentioned as well that the market's just too slow right now. So I wouldn't mess with it. US 30, I was kind of tempted to mess with the US 30 today, but I think I might hold off probably until like maybe 10. So 4 hours from now, when the market starts to pick up closer to London open, that's when I'll start looking at trades. But I think right now I'm just going to go ahead and look at the Forex pairs for any possible entries from now until the market reopen for US session tomorrow. But okay, so nothing there. And I think that's it for the indexes. All right, guys, so I'm going to go down the Forex pairs now and mark up these zones, but I'll check out the chat real quick to see who's here. So if you guys were just joining in right now, I mentioned that there was an entry available here for AUDJPY. However, this isn't one that I would want to take, because I'm letting the market smoothen out first, because we do have a buy entry here. This technically would be a valid buy entry, but I was looking at the indexes. I was comparing the Aussie index with the Japanese index. And in order to do that, we just pull up the AXY, which is the Australian dollar currency index. This is going to indicate the strength of the Australian dollar. And then I paired it with the Japanese index right here. So basically this movement right here is going to be dictated by the indexes right here. So they're both bearish right now. With them both being bearish, price is probably just going to go sideways right here. In order for price to go up, the Aussie dollar needs to be stronger than the JPY, right? So for this to happen, we need the AXY to go upwards. If this goes upwards and this continues downwards, then we can anticipate the odd JPY to push up. If the opposite happens where this continues to push down and this actually pushes up, then we can anticipate the odd JPY to go down, right? Because just looking at these indexes here, this is going to indicate, how strong that specific currency is. So if you guys are familiar with, basic fundamentals with how Forex pairs move, when price is going down, that indicates that the second currency is stronger than the first currency, right? And vice versa, if price is going up, that indicates that the first currency is stronger than the second currency. So that's one way to look at it. If you guys are wondering, how do we tie this in with the actual strength of the specific currency? So just keep that in mind. If you guys want extra confirmation, you guys can always look at the actual index to see how these are actually moving. Sorry, let me update that. There we go. So with that said, let me check the chat real quick, see who's here, and then we'll get started. So let me see who's in here right now. Cool. So hey, Life Plus, how's it going? Hey, T-Got. Hey, Bryce. Hey, Marcus. Good afternoon to you too. Good morning, Sam. Yeah, it's opposite time for you over there, Sam, in Australia. I think it's morning for you guys, right? So you guys are actually Monday already. So you guys are a day ahead. Hey, morning. Dennis, how's it going, Dennis? Dennis said, do I need to log back out of TradingView for the new script? Not really, Dennis. You can just put it back on your chart. The script didn't really change that much. So if you guys probably got an email if you guys have access to the K2 indicators for the K2 momentum indicator. So basically what I did was all I did was I changed the settings slightly. So for example, right here where it says K2TS, I changed that to the K2 momentum indicator because a lot of people were getting confused with what the momentum indicator was. So yeah, if I add this to the chart right there, you guys can see here that oh wait, that's the wrong indicator. I think I might need to refresh this. Let me just refresh my chart real quick. Yeah, all I did was I just changed it slightly because a lot of people are getting confused. So it's this indicator right here, the K2 momentum indicator. And when you click on it, it just says K2 momentum now. It doesn't say K2TS because a lot of people were getting confused. They didn't know what the K2 momentum indicator was. And it's literally just that. It's the same indicator. And what I did was I just changed the settings around a little bit so that people don't get confused because a lot of people were confused and didn't realize, what was what, but it's not really, there's nothing that changed to it. The only thing I changed was the name. And I also changed, the option to change the parameters because a lot of people were messing with the parameters and they kind of just got confused. Some people just got confused when they were messing with the parameters and they couldn't figure out like what they were doing wrong. So that's all I did for that. Dennis, all you need to do is just refresh your chart. So just click on your trading view, refresh your chart, and then it'll just update to the new settings, but nothing has really changed for it that much. So, with that said, that's pretty much it for the new update. If you guys got that email. Hey, what's up, Marmon? I haven't seen you in a while, bro. How you been? I haven't seen you in like months, I feel like, dude. You were around a lot in the beginning and then you kind of disappeared and you came back and then you disappeared again. But no, it's good to see you, bro. Glad to see you back in the room. Let's see who else is here. Hey, John. Hey, Alan. Hey, Mark. Mark said, looking for my first payday this week. Definitely, Mark. You've been picking it up, so you should be good to go. Live Plus said, good, but I'm going to bed. It's 3 a.m. here. See you in the live session. Yeah, Live Plus, see you in about 12 hours. So I'll be right back in the next 12 hours for the actual live session. Just a reminder, guys, this is just a weekly chart analysis. This isn't necessarily, we're not going to go too in detail because like I mentioned, the market's barely opening up right now. So it's going to be pretty slow for the most part, but we're definitely going to, try and see if we can find any specific trades that are available. So let me just check the chat again real quick. Naresh said, can you please analyze gold? So yeah, I'll look at gold for you, Naresh. And if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat and I can analyze, pretty much any pair for you guys. So I'll just analyze gold for you guys real quick. And then after that, I'll start going down the list. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat now. Because once I start going down this list and marking up my zones, I'm not going to take any breaks. I'm just going to go down here, mark up my zones, and then I'll get to questions after that. So I'll check out gold real quick for you, Naresh. So if you guys followed my analysis for gold last week, you guys can see right here that it played out exactly like I mentioned, right? I mentioned that when price was to break and close past structure, it was going to push down. So if you guys took this trade when I gave my analysis last week, you would have made a ton of profit off this trade right here. So I'm going to go ahead and reanalyze this from scratch so that we can see, how it's going to move for this week moving forward. So I'm going to delete everything off the chart. This is my analysis from last week. If you guys sat in on my session last Sunday, and it played out perfectly, right? So the market started right here on the, was it March 1st? So on March 1st, it dropped exactly to full TP like we mentioned. And I'll just go ahead and analyze this from scratch so you guys can see. So I'm going to zoom out from this point. This is going to be a naked chart here for gold. First thing I do is I turn on the K² SR indicator, version 2, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my zones. So the reason why I draw these zones here is so we can identify the rejection points. That way we know where to trade and where not to trade. So we got this marked up there. Got that set up there. And then right there as well. Down here and again down here. So once we have these marked up, we need to get the lower zones. So if you guys don't have the zones on the 4-hour, we'll go to the 8-hour. No zones down there. We'll go to the daily. No zones down there. So we'll go to the weekly. And now you guys can see that the closest zone is going to be way down here. So just looking at this, it's the same analysis that I've been doing for you guys for, I mean, like the past, I don't even know how long. I've been analyzing gold for you guys every day for like the past couple months now. And the same analysis has played out, and it's just, it's been doing exactly what we thought it would do, right? So basically we're just applying the K2SR strategy. So looking at this, once we have our zones drawn up here, you guys can see we have perfect rejection points, right? Everything's been rejecting, how we've been looking at for the past previous weeks. So it's still in a bearish move right here. We marked this up from the beginning of the year. Actually, from here, I mentioned that once price broke structure, it's going to keep pushing down, right? And that's exactly what happened. Price came from up here, and it dropped a total down here for a huge drop of, let's see, 268 pips, the big drop. So the same pattern is just replaying itself, right? We turn on the momentum indicator, we identify the direction of momentum, and you can see that the move started from up here, and it continued down here. So this short move right here actually started from here because price came down, retraced up, retested this structure right here, and then it came back down. So right here, we have a rejection off this K2SR structure. We have a sell signal right here. And then from that point, price pushes down to the next structure right here. Same pattern again right here, price broke and closed past structure. We still have the sell signal right here. So it pushed down to this structure right here, right? And then it's just the same pattern that keeps, obviously that keeps repeating itself. So look again right here. I think we had to adjust this a little bit for the other time frame, but we adjusted it slightly. That's why I had the markup earlier. But it wouldn't matter because even if we didn't identify this break and close past structure, we would still identify this break and close past structure right here. So with that said, this full move right here already closed. So this would have hit full TP already, right? This would be another move right here. So Naresh, looking at this from this point, we just enter another short position, right over here. And then we have our TP stop loss above the structure for about, I guess, 41 pips, I guess, or something like that. I don't trade gold, guys, so I'm not sure like if this is 41 pips or 412 pips. I guess you guys can determine if you guys trade this normally, but I don't trade this at all. So I'm not sure what the movement would be. But if you were to take this trade, it looks like it's technically still active right here. And it's on its way to full TP. So I think this is going to keep pushing down from this point, Naresh. It's probably going to keep pushing down because the next line of support is nowhere near, right? Looking at this over here, the next line of support for gold is going to be way down here. So it's got a long way to go. So if you're still in this trade, it looks like it's still going to keep pushing down. However, it might come back and retrace a bit. So what could happen here is price can go ahead and swing back up. I don't know how far it'll swing back up because it already tried to retest right here, but it can come back and retest its structure. It doesn't necessarily need to come all the way up here. It can come up to any of these zones right here because the previous swing high would be right here, right? This is the previous swing high. The reason for that is because price comes down, it swings up, comes back down, swings up, comes back down, swings up from here. So the swing high can either be right there or it can be right here. You can see that price is below both of these areas. So what could happen for gold is price can come up, test this structure, and then come back down, right? Or price can come up here, test this structure, maybe consolidate within here for a bit, bounce around, and then eventually come back down. But I think overall, long-term, gold is probably going to drop from this point. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. You know, I've seen that the U.S. is bombing Syria, so like doing that is, you know, it's a power move. It's going to affect the market heavily. And with that said, you know, if a lot of stuff happens and, you know, COVID gets resolved here in the U.S., then the U.S. dollar is probably going to, you know, gain in strength. So just looking at that, we can also pull up the dollar index just to see how strong the dollar is right now. So looking at the dollar here, you see how bullish it is. If the dollar continues to be bullish, if this continues pushing up higher and higher, then we can expect the you know, XAU USD to keep coming down, because if the dollar continues to be strong, it moves opposite of gold, right? So if this continues to push up further and further, then we can anticipate this to keep dropping from here. It might not even retrace. It might just continue to drop further and further, but we won't really know that until we figure out, you know, what happens from this point, because price is still just going sideways right here. Price can either swing up or it can swing down. So I wouldn't enter this trade right now, Naresh. I would wait a bit for confirmation. Like maybe wait for it to reject off one of these structures and provide a sell signal. Because right now we don't even have a sell signal. I would probably wait for a sell signal, because that would give you better confirmation that momentum is going to be swinging down. Currently right here, we have a buy signal. It doesn't necessarily mean that price is going to, you know, shift upwards. This could just be a retracement signal, because you can see right here, whenever we have a buy signal, it comes up slightly, then it comes back down, right? Again, right here, buy signal comes up slightly for retracement, then it comes back down. So I wouldn't necessarily take this as a buy. I would have a bearish bias for this specific trade. So just keep that in mind, and just wait and see how the market moves throughout the week. I wouldn't enter right now because, like I mentioned, it's Sunday and the market is just open. So there's not really much for us to, you know, necessarily anticipate. Like right now, it's just speculation because the market isn't even fully open yet. We're still in Asia session and everything is just going sideways for the most part. So I probably wouldn't enter gold right now. I'd probably wait until tomorrow. But okay, so let me see what else we have over here. Naresh, thank you. Can you please share chart layout for US 30, NASDAQ 100, gold, and what do you mean by that, Naresh? My chart layout. Because I analyze things from scratch, Naresh. I don't have anything that's just sitting around, you know, because I don't trade those like that. So, I mean, if you want me to analyze them, I can analyze them, but I don't just have like a chart layout that's just, you know, because you saw right now for gold, I just did this from scratch. Like there was nothing on the chart and I just did everything from scratch. So again, I don't know if you're trying to copy my chart layout, like what I just did here, but you know, if you have the indicators, it's pretty simple. You just draw the zones and then you identify momentum and that's it. I don't leave any like charts just like hanging around, because the thing is you can't just focus on one chart, right? You have to go and redo your analysis every time you look at it, because things can change from yesterday up until now. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, Naresh. I mean, if you could be a little more detailed, I can probably answer your question better, but I don't really see, like, I don't have any charts that are just set up for US 30 and NASDAQ or gold or any of those, because I just scalp them. I don't trade them long term. So yeah, if you could be a little more detailed, Naresh, I can answer your question, but I'm not sure what you're asking for there. All right. Oh yeah, guys. So let me update the watch list real quick. So, or actually, Dennis, all up here. Let me just put them over here real quick. So let me just send you guys the updated watch list over here. So if you guys are in the premium, I will send you guys the updated watch list. Let me just see. Here's the updated K2 watch list, guys. I'll update it on the website. Yeah, Dennis. So here's the watch list for you guys if you guys want it. I can just do it right now. Actually, it's not that big of a deal. Let me just go real quick and update the watch list on the website. righty. Let me just delete that watch list there. Damn, I haven't done this in a while. Let me see this real quick. All right. I think this is saved. Let me just make sure that this is. I haven't updated the like page on the website in a long time, so let me just check real quick. I think this is proper. Yeah. So if you guys log on the K² website now, you guys will see the updated watch list there. Let me just get everything set up over here real quick in the other watch list. Just copy this over real quick. All right, I guess this thing automatically updates. All right, Dennis. Yeah, so if you go, I sent it to you guys in the group in the premium, but also it's available on the website as well. Let me just finish this. I don't know if there's another one here. Oh yeah, okay. So delete that file. So I'm just what I sent you guys was the watch list here. So basically my watch list right here, you guys have it, so you guys can trade. You know exactly what I do. All right. So the watch list was just updated, Dennis. You're good to go. If you go on the website, so let me just pull up the course over here. I'll show you guys, you know, what I just did. So, all right. So basically, if you guys are in any of the K² courses, the free or paid one, you just go here to K² watch list, and you guys can download my watch list right here. And then once you click on that, you can go to your watch list on TradingView, and then you can just import it right here. So you can just click plus, and then, or sorry, not plus, click this drop down right here, and then you can export watch list, where you guys can have my watch list on your chart as well. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, Dennis, thanks for reminding me. So let me see if there's anything else right here before we continue on. All right. So next question was from Donatello. Donatello's asking S&P 500. So I'll go ahead and analyze S&P for you guys real quick. Let me just go down to the S&P. Let me go to OJPY as well. So see, this is why I didn't call it that OJPY call, right? Because the market is just opening right now. So everything's kind of moving back and forth. This is why I didn't call this trade. And you know, you had been some drawdown if you guys took that trade. So that's why I mentioned to hold off and don't enter trades just yet, because everything is just moving back and forth until everything has fully opened. So, all right, here's S&P. I'm going to go ahead and analyze this from scratch. So I'll delete everything off the chart. Mr. Remley said, my screen is too blurry to see the writing, but what currency we looking at? So right now we're looking at S&P, Mr. Remley. I'm not sure. I don't think, does anyone else have an issue with the screen? Because I've never heard anyone had that issue before where the screen is blurry. It might just be on your side, Remley, but we're looking at S&P right now. So Donatello, here's S&P. I'm going to zoom out from here. Here's a zoomed out view of a naked chart for S&P. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the K2SR indicator. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my zones so that you guys can identify, you know, where to trade and where not to trade. So here's the upper zones right here. Just going to draw these all out for you guys before we move forward, so you guys can identify, you know, exactly what to pay attention to here. So we got that upper zone right there. We have this lower zone right here. That right there. And guys, if you guys want me to analyze something and you want something specific, make sure to be specific with your questions, right? So if you guys want me to analyze it on the longer perspective, like on the 1 hour or 4 hour, I can do that for you, but you guys have to be specific, because if you guys want me to analyze it from a scalp perspective, it's going to be totally different, right? So if you guys want it for intraday, if you guys want it for swing, just be specific with your questions. I don't mind analyzing them for you guys. I just need I need some specificity if you guys are looking for something specific, because I'm not sure if you guys are looking at it from a short-term perspective or from a long-term perspective. But anyways, this is the intraday markup for S&P. This would be it on the 1 hour right here. Let me just change this real quick. I want to make sure that everything here is solid. So these right here overlap. That's why I created a huge zone right here. But anyways, just looking at this from this point, it looks pretty choppy, S&P. You know, obviously S&P has been a mess all last week. You can see this big consolidation area, push up, drop down from here. And then it's just been messy all along. So just looking at the S&P right here, these are the zones that I've drawn up. Looking at this from a closer view, you can see that the drop started from this point up here, right? Or we can just start from here. Just looking at this from the intraday, you can see this goes back to February 24th from this area up here. So from this area, I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator and just identify what I'm looking for from here. So Donatello, just looking at this point right here, we have a rejection from this structure above here, right? So obviously you can see that this has been bearish since up here. So it started from this top right here and it pushed down to this point. Then it retraced back up to here. And then now it's coming back down. So just looking at this from this perspective, here, this is what I could do. I could clean up the chart slightly so that you guys can see things a bit better because the chart is kind of messy right now. So let me just take off all this noise. Take that off. Take this off right here. Actually, I don't really want to take off these zones because these zones are important. Like it's messy, but if you guys know what you're looking for, they're actually really important because you can see that this area has been tested like a bunch of times before it finally broke above. And then when it broke below that zone, it dropped pretty heavily, right? So just looking at this from this perspective, Donatello, I'm gonna leave this on here. I know it's gonna look a little messy, but I'm just gonna leave it on here so you can see what I'm looking at. So I'm gonna zoom in from this point. You see we have a rejection from the structure right here. And then we have this pending sell signal right here, right? We have 30 minutes left on this candle. But if this closes right here, then we're going to switch from a bullish bias down here to a bearish bias right here. So if this closes with the sell signal, what we're going to be looking for is we're going to be looking for price to close below this structure right here before you take a sell. And the same pattern has played out previously over here as well, right? So you can see that the same pattern just keeps playing out. So if you zoom out from here or zoom in from here and you just look at this area from this whole area right here, every time this setup plays out, it just does what it's supposed to do, right? So like right here, we have the rejection from this point. We have the sell signal right here. When price broke and closed past this structure right here, it pushed down to this structure right here, right? And then it did the same thing the opposite direction. Rejection from this point, buy signal pushed up here. And then again, same situation. We have the rejection from up here. We have the sell signal right here. We have a break and close past this structure right here, and then it pushed down to this structure over here before swinging back up, right? So it's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. But a better example for this right here was when price rejected off this structure. So price rejected off this structure right here. We had that sell signal. It broke and closed past this structure, and then it dropped to this point down here. So this drop right here, if you took that trade, this would have been a drop for about 500 pips, which I mean, it's a pretty good profit if you're trading S&P. This would be equivalent to, I think, 5,000 pips. I think that's 500 points. So in reality, that's 5,000 pips right there. So we're looking for that same pattern to repeat itself, right? We have the rejection from this point, rejection, rejection, sell signal, and then we just want it to break and close past the structure. So when price breaks and closes past the structure, what we're anticipating is that price is going to go ahead and drop to this structure down here. So like I mentioned, I'm not going to take this trade now. I wouldn't recommend you take this trade either until it breaks and closes past here. And this is probably not going to happen for maybe another couple hours since market's just super slow right now. We're probably not going to see this drop until tomorrow morning when the New York Stock Exchange opens. So this is pretty much, what we're looking for here at this point. But I wouldn't take this trade yet. So Donatello, I'd wait a bit and I'd wait for it to close below here. Because if you go back and look at, previous data over here, it's the same pattern. So look at this pattern that I marked up for you right here, Donatello. See how we have the rejection, sell signal, and then once it breaks the structure right here, it pushes down like it did right here. If we go back over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and just rewind it. So I'm going to go back from here and I'm just going to show you the same exact area the last time it broke below here. So we'll go all the way down here and look at the same pattern again right here, right? It's the same exact pattern. We have the rejection from the structure. We have the sell signal right here. As soon as price broke and closed past the structure off this candle, what happened from that point? it dropped down to this structure just like I mentioned, right? So if you took that trade again right there, that's another 500 pips. And it's the same thing. It just literally keeps repeating itself. So like what you guys got to do for the most part, when you're trading is to look back at previous data. Because if you guys look at previous data, you'll see that history always repeats itself, right? Especially for assets like this, like S&P that moves the same time and time. Same with Forex pairs. It's the same pattern. Again, right here, we have the rejection from this point. We got the sell signal right here. What happened when price broke the structure right here, right? Same thing that I've been mentioning to you guys. Price broke structure right here. You enter another sell position right there. And then you shoot down for 500 pips, easy money, right? So it's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. Same pattern right here, rejection, sell signal, breaking close past structure, rejection, sell signal, breaking close past structure right there. 2 full TPs right there. You look at right now, same thing, right? Same pattern. Rejection, sell signal, breaking close past structure, full TP. Rejection, sell signal. Once it closes below here, it's probably going to keep pushing down and do the same thing it did right here on March 4th. And then again over here on January 28th. So January 28th it happened, and then January 27th. And this is a better example right here that it will repeat itself because you can see it happen right after each other, right? So it happened right here on the 27th, and it happened again on the 28th. Looking at current price over here, it happened over here on the 4th. Today's the 7th, right? Because it's a new weekend. So it happened right here. And if it comes down to this area again, it's probably going to play out a second time. So just keep that in mind. But like I mentioned, you got to be patient and wait for the entry. Don't just hop into this trade because you think it's gonna drop, right? Because what's probably going to happen is if you enter right here, like this is probably what's going to happen. If you're like, oh, you believe what I'm saying right here, and you think it's going to drop here, so you're going to get greedy. You're just going to enter the trade right here. What could happen is price can come down to this structure and then reject off and hit your stop loss. So don't get greedy. Just wait for it to play out and wait for an actual entry. Don't just hop into it just because you feel like it's going to drop. Hop into it when you actually see it happen and you know it's going to drop. So just keep that in mind. And that's about it for the S&P. So let me see what else we have next. We have, Naresh wants me to take a look at USD CHF. So let me take a look at USD CHF real quick. Let's go to USD CHF right there. I'm going to go on the 4-hour because I trade Forex on the 4-hour right here. So you guys can see that the same pattern that I just looked at from S&P, it works for Forex too, right? We have the rejection off the structure, buy signal, breaking close past the structure, and what happens? Pushes up, right? So it's the same. If you guys know my trading style, you guys know that it works. And obviously I use the same thing for Forex. I use it for indices. I use it for cryptos. I use it for everything. And if you guys want to learn it, it's really easy. It's really simple. And the thing with trading, guys, is you guys have to keep it simple, right? A lot of people want to overcomplicate trading, and you guys just end up losing trades because you make it too complicated. In reality, price can only go up or down. So like, why overcomplicate it? I mean, obviously price can go sideways for a bit, but eventually it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So as long as you have a good trading plan down and you have a strategy that actually works, just keep applying it. It's rinse and repeat every single day. But anyways, looking at USD CHF right here, I'm going to take everything off the chart. So we have a naked chart. So delete everything. And I'm going to analyze this from scratch for you guys. So here's USD CHF. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the momentum, the SR indicator, so that we can identify these rejection points, just like I did for the S&P. So looking at USD CHF right here, whenever these zones overlap, I just create one big zone. So looking at this right here, this overlaps with this one above. So I'm going to create one big zone. And this one right here is really close. So I'm just going to create one big zone to pretty much take out all of the noise in the market. Because I'm sure you guys see a lot of noise in the market and you guys don't know what to do about it, right? The easiest thing to do is just to ignore it. And trade when price is not within those noise areas. Because if you trade where price is consolidating or where it's whipsawing, you're probably going to get stopped out because price is going to be manipulated around those areas. So anyways, looking at this here, we have this drawn up. Next up, we need some higher zones, right? Because we have no zones up here. In order to do that, we'll go on the 8-hour. Let's see. I guess we can mark these up right here just for reference. Now we still need some higher zones here because we need to know where the ceiling's at. We'll go on the daily, and here we go. So the first zone is going to be right over here, and price actually just broke this zone right here. So Naresh, looking at USD CHF, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the K2SR zone since we have everything drawn up, and I'm going to go back on the 4-hour. So looking at this here, you guys can see I just drew the zones for you guys, and it doesn't take that long. It takes a few minutes, a few seconds actually. And once you have those zones drawn up, you guys can see that we have some perfectly drawn areas so that we know where to trade and where not to trade. Because obviously you don't want to trade where these zones are, because odds are price is going to reject off that point. So looking at current price for USD CHF, you can see it's bullish, obviously, right? It's clearly bullish. It's been pushing down since it rejected off this point. It rejected off this point right here, and then it's been bullish ever since, right? So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to turn on the momentum indicator to identify the direction of momentum. So obviously right here, the same pattern that I've been drawing for you guys over and over again. You know, right here, we have the rejection from this point. We have a buy signal right here. It pushed up. Rejection from this point, buy signal right here. It pushed up. So just looking at these same patterns right here, you can see that whenever price breaks structure, you know, the same pattern that I've been showing you guys, it ends up pushing up to the next structure. So we have a rejection from this point right here. We have a buy signal right here. You can see that price breaks and closes past this structure, right? When price breaks and closes past this structure, what usually happens is price pushes up to the next structure right here, right? So if you took that trade, you would have hit full TP right there, right? For about 89 pips right there. So the same pattern just continues like on and on. So right here, price broke structure again at this point. And then what happened from that point, because we have the rejection, buy signal, there's no other sell signal in between. So with that said, we still have a bullish bias right here. So if you took this trade over here as well, you would have hit full TP right there. It's the same thing, right? Same pattern, just keeps repeating itself. By break and close past structure, full TP. Break and close past structure again right here, full TP. So price broke and close past structure again right here. So what do you guys think is going to happen here, right? If you guys look at the pattern, it just keeps repeating itself. What do you think is going to happen here? It's going to push up and test this structure above here. So with that said, you know, we would take a buy here. So Naresh, looking at this here, see the same pattern that I've drawn for you guys here, just repeated itself. So again, over here, we have a rejection from the structure. We have a buy signal right here. Price actually broke and closed past structure. So this would be another buy entry right here, which would have hit full TP. But again, right here, price broke structure. So with that said, what do? We enter another long position right here. TP is going to be below the structure right here, about 60 pips. And it's on its way to full TP right there, right? So it's technically still active right now around entry point. And the reason why we put our TP right here is because when price reaches the structure, it can do one of two things. Price can either reject off and come back down, or it can break above it and continue up higher. But we're not going to take that risk. Once price reaches this area, we take our profit and we wait for it to break and close again past this structure over here. And we just repeat itself. We do the same thing again. So if we took all these trades here, win, 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 another win right here, you just wait for it to break above here. And what do you do at that point? Another long position, right? It's really simple, guys. Don't overcomplicate trading, because you really don't have to overcomplicate it. You guys, if you guys have been following me for the past couple of years now, I've been using the same analysis for years, right? And you guys see me do the same exact thing every single day, and it actually works, right? So if you guys go back, and if you guys are brand new here, just go to the YouTube channel and watch all of my live streams. I trade live every single day, and you guys can see I'm applying the same strategy every single day. There's nothing different. So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to go back and, vet my strategy, see if it actually works. But, obviously for the old members here, you guys know exactly what I'm looking for. So Naresh, looking at USD CHF, this is exactly what I'm looking for from this point. There's technically a buy entry that's technically available, and I think it's going to push up to this point right here for a full TP of about 60 pips. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Like I mentioned, the market just opened, so there's no guarantee it's going to push up like that. It can easily reverse on us at any point in time, especially if there's news this week. Let me check real quick. So let's check the news to see if there's anything for us to look out for. So there's news at 2 a.m., which is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. In about 8 hours, there's high impact GBP news, which will probably affect the CHF because it's a European asset, right? So that will probably affect this pair. We'll see how it affects it. But, like I mentioned, we're going to be careful with that. So this is pretty much it for USD CHF, Naresh. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So CT mentioned NAS. That's why I didn't get in. So going back to the NASDAQ over here, like I was mentioning to you guys, it's not really a safe time to really to enter trades right now because of how the market's moving, right? Because the market has just opened. So looking at NASDAQ over here, see, this is why you wouldn't want to take that trade that that, wait, why hasn't it updated? Sorry, let me just update my charts real quick. Yeah, so looking at this right here, this is why I was telling you guys that you guys shouldn't enter any trades yet for the indices, because look what happened. If you guys took the buys over here, it came down super heavily. And that's why if you guys are looking at the chat, CT said that's why he didn't enter that buy, because price is going to be very, very unpredictable right now. So I would wait until a US session opens tomorrow before you guys enter trades for any of these indices, because you're just not sure how things are going to move. So I would keep away from a lot of these indices until market has been fully open for the week. All right, so that's it for that. Let me see if there's any other questions. All right, so it looks like we're done with questions here. Let me check real quick. All right, so I just checked I checked the chat real quick. There's nothing there. So we're done with questions for now, guys. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go down my Forex watch list right here, and I'm going to just mark up all my zones so that we can be ready for this trading week, because I trade Forex on the 4-hour time frame. So I don't necessarily trade today until the market is actually in full swing. I just mark up the zone so that when I do see trades into the week, I'm ready to take those trades without having to mark up these zones, even though it doesn't take that much time. That's basically what this session is meant for. So if you guys have questions, you guys can put them in the chat and I'll look later. But for the next, I guess, 20, 30 minutes, I'm just going to go down this list and I'm going to mark up all the zones right here so that we can identify, which direction price is going and if there's any possible entries. And I'll also give some trade ideas as I'm analyzing this along the way. So we're going to start off with odd CAD right here. I'm going to go ahead and just take everything off the chart. I'm going to reanalyze everything. All right. So you guys will just see how I analyze the charts really quick. It doesn't take that long. It takes like a few seconds for me to just mark everything up real quick so that I can identify, where I'm going to be trading for this week. So we got that marked up, that marked up, that marked up down there. Actually, this is just one big zone. So let me go ahead and just pull this down here and grab those lower zones. There we go. All right, cool. So looking at odd CAD right here, I have all the zones drawn up. We have a sell signal there, so we have a rejection from this point. Sell signal right here, push down to this structure. We have another break and close past structure right here. Push down to this structure, just like I mentioned, it's the same pattern, just keeps repeating itself. So I'm just waiting for this to break below here or provide a buy signal, because we do have a sell signal here. So we have a sell bias. I want this to close below the structure before I take that sell. But if we get a buy signal, then I'll probably just take the buy instead. So other than that, let me continue on with these over here. So that's it for odd CAD. Here's odd CHF. I'll go ahead and draw my zones again for you guys. There. And I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible, because I know a lot of you guys don't even care about these zones, but I'm doing this for myself and for the rest of the signals this week, because I do give Forex signals and I do scalp. I mean, obviously I'm more focused on scalping, but I still give my Forex trades out to you guys for those of you who just trade Forex and not indices. So I'm not going to stop calling these trades just because I focus more on scalping. But I will, I'll still trade these, because this isn't that hard, guys. If you trade on the 4-hour, you only have to look at the charts like so many times a day. You don't you don't necessarily have to be looking at the charts all day. It's just a few hours a day, or not even a few hours, a few times a day. And once you guys have that set up, I mean, that's pretty much it. All right, looking at odd CHF. Let's see. All right, we have a bullish bias here. So not necessarily anything there, but I'll go ahead and take a look at that a little later when I'm looking for Forex trades later this afternoon. So I already marked up odd JPY. I'm just going to move on to the next one, odd NZD. And I'm just going to redraw all the zones. I'm not going to overlap them because last week the zones were kind of messy because we got a little lazy and we didn't draw these zones. So I'm just going to go ahead and just redraw them from scratch. All right, this one connects down here. All right, so odd NZD looks pretty solid. Let me just turn this off. Turn on the momentum indicator right here. So just looking at this, we have a sell bias. Basically, I'd be looking for this to close below this structure before I take a sell. So that's it for odd NZD. Move on to the next one, odd USD. Zone right there. Close. And these lower ones right here. So looking at odd USD, I'm gonna turn off the zones, turn on the momentum indicator. We have a sell bias right here because we have a sell signal. So I'm basically waiting for this to do the same thing for the last pair. I'm just gonna wait for it to close below here before I take that sell. And then I'm just gonna catch this ride downwards right there for a small little move. Let's see. I guess it's not that small. It's like a 50 pip move. So it's a nice 50 pip profit if we end up identifying that, but nothing there yet. So CAD CHF, another pair that I didn't take for the specific reason of the market just opening. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off the chart and redraw my zones for this specific pair. This one. And this upper zone right here. Higher zones, going to 8 hour, nothing there. Daily, man, this is so tedious. I hate drawing these zones, guys. Like, I feel like this is like the worst part of the week, just drawing these zones. But once I have these drawn up, I mean, we're pretty much good for the week. We don't have to look at the zones again for a while. So we pretty much do all the heavy lifting on Sunday so that once the market opens on Monday, like fully, we can just take trades. We don't have to go and draw these zones again. All right, nothing there. KJPY we took last week. Did that hit full TP? I think all of our trades hit full TP last week, right? Let me see. KJPY. Yeah, so we took this trade last week. We already hit full TP off that. Looks like another setup filled right there. But I'm going to go ahead and redraw these zones again so that we can be ready for this week. And guys, if you guys send me emails or message me on Telegram over the week and I haven't gotten to you yet, that's because I haven't looked at my messages yet. So if you guys send me messages and I haven't gotten back to you, I will get back to you tonight. So that's why I'm just trying to get through these zones real quick so that I can be ready for the trading week. And then I can just go ahead and answer all of your questions. But if I didn't get to you guys yet, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that I don't usually work on the weekends. Because obviously you guys can see I'm pretty busy during the week. So I will get to your messages. Just hold tight and I will get to them after this session's done. All right. So yeah, it looks like CAD/JPY is reaching this resistance right here. We'll see how it plays out once it reaches that point. But until then, there's not really much for us to look at. CHF/JPY. Zoom out from this point. All right, zones are good for CHF/JPY. This is normally a messy pair anyway, so that's why it looks kind of messy. But you guys can see that we have some perfectly drawn zones here to identify these, these rejection points. So that's it for that. Let's move over to Euro odd. Delete everything off there. Zoom out. Turn on the momentum indicator. I mean the zones. So basically, guys, right now I'm not really looking for trades, right? If you guys want me to analyze something like specific, and I'll go into detail with that, you guys can put the pair in the chat, and I can take a look at it. But for me right now, I'm just going to draw these zones so that I don't need to do them into the week, because obviously you guys can see how hectic it'd be if I'm like drawing these zones on Monday, and then there's a bunch of trades that are available, and I'm just missing them because I'm taking so much time, drawing these zones out. So that's why I'm not really looking for trades here. I'm just looking for these zones. Yeah, so this looks like it's consolidating within these two zones right here. If price ends up closing below this structure, then we could possibly take a sell from there, because you guys can see the last time it broke structure right here, it dropped down to that point for a really nice full TP. So that's a nice move down there for about 130 pips, right? So if it breaks down again right here, it's another 130 pips for us. All right, Euro CAD. See if there's anything else here real quick. Zoom out from this point. All right. Euro CAD right here. And you guys can see how easy it is to draw these, right? Like a lot of people take forever drawing zones. Like people don't know where to put their zones at. And that's why I created this indicator, the K²SR, because it takes out all the guesswork instead of having to draw these like bad zones because you guys don't know where to put them, which is common. You know, it's not something new where people put zones in the wrong places. That's why I created this algorithm to identify the zones for me. Because you guys can see I'm drawing these zones within a few seconds. If you were to do this on your own, just imagine how long this would take you. It would take you all day, literally, right? Because I'm drawing zones for like 26 pairs. So that's a lot of pairs for you guys to draw zones for if you guys are doing it from scratch. All right. All right. Basically, all these CHF pairs, guys, are usually pretty messy. That's why you have so many zones down here. And this isn't unusual. Like if you look at any of the CHF pairs, they're usually pretty messy. So that's why it's kind of hard to catch these trades unless you have like some very spot on points for you guys to be trading from. So here's Euro CHF. Let's go back to the 4-hour. Turn this off. All right, so price is currently above this structure right here. It's probably gonna push up to here. That's probably what I see happening. EG right here. So that looks good. All right, cool. Solid zones right there for EG. I mean, it looks bearish. It's been bearish since December of last year. So it's been pushing from here down to here. And, you know, like I mentioned, we're looking for the same thing. We're just waiting for price to break and close past the structure below here in order for us to take that trade. Obviously, price broke structure right there already. So you can probably take a sell, or actually from right here. Yeah, this is probably going to drop from this point down to there for like about 40 pips. But I'm not going to get stuck with that. I'm going to go and check the other pairs here. Here's EJ. Zoom out from this point. Draw my zones. Let's connect these. So a lot of these lower zones right here, guys, I'll just connect them together because they're kind of relevant, right? Price is way up here. It's ranging within these two zones over here. So there's really no point in us really focusing down here. If price ends up pushing down here, we'll just redraw these zones. But I'm not going to be too focused on like what's going on down here. I'm going to focus on what's going on above here because this is where it's really important because we want to see where, you know, price reacts once it reaches these zones right here. So price is just consolidating for EJ until price breaks above here, breaks below here. Then there's probably not going to be very much for us to look at until that happens. So there's EJ. See how many other pairs I have left to mark up here. So you guys can see if you guys have been sitting through this session and you guys watch me analyze everything, I've analyzed about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pairs right now in just a few minutes. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 more pairs to go. So I'm going to try to zoom through those so that I can just, you know, analyze pairs more in detail for the specific ones that you guys want to see. So I'm just drawing up my charts for the week so that we can be ready for any of these Forex trades as we continue. Obviously for the indices trades and our scalps, we analyze those along the way. There's really no reason for us to draw the zones for those right now unless we're actively taking those trades. All right. I'm not going to bother looking at this because I don't think anyone cares about Euro NZD. Let me go ahead and move this down further. Euro USD. So this is one trade right here. Same markup that I had yesterday or last week, actually on Friday, when price broke the structure down there. Let me see if anything's changed since then. So we can zoom out from this. Let's draw these zones right here. There. That's it for Euro USD. Let's move on. Or actually, I need to get the lower zone because price is currently within that area or below that area. So we got to make sure that we have those lower zones right there to identify these rejection points. Let's see. This actually connects to here. All right, cool. Looking at Euro USD, this looks pretty solid. On to the next one. So I do see one question for Joseph over there. So Joseph, I see your question for GU. So once I get a GU down this list, I'll take some time on that to actually analyze it. But yeah, I think that's the only question we have right now. So if you guys have any specific questions for any of these specific assets, make sure to put them in the chat so I can go into a deeper dive. Otherwise, I'm just going to zoom through these after I draw my zones because there's really no point in me analyzing, you know, every single pair if you guys don't even care about the pair because it just takes a lot of time for me to go off from what I'm already doing to analyze every single pair if nobody cares about that specific pair. So when I get to GU, I'll take a look at that, Joseph. And if you guys have any other questions, put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to go on with my current analysis. So GCAD right there. Get the lower zone, 8 hour. This one's actually a lot deeper. It's down here. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. And then I'll probably analyze it later if I decide to take a trade for GCAD. So that's it for GCAD, GCHF. All right. Like I was mentioning earlier, guys, for these CHF pairs, they're always going to be messy. So you guys can see we have a bunch of messiness down here. That's normal. It's not unusual to see that for a pair like this. Let me just fix this right here, and then we need that upper zone still. Something go on the daily, nothing there. Go on the weekly. All right, so we have this upper zone right here. Another one above here. We're good. All right, next pair, GJ. Zoom out from this point. All right, so looking at GJ, we don't have an upper zone. So I'm gonna go on the higher time frame to find that upper zone. Nothing there on the 8 hour, nothing there on the daily. And we go on the weekly. We need something higher. So looking at the monthly here, this is the monthly resistance. Going back to the 4 hour. Looks like GJ's got a way to go. So if GJ continues to push up higher and higher, then it's probably gonna reject off this point and then push up to here. So we'll go back and look at that. GJ is actually one of the pairs that I like to trade. So I'll go back and reanalyze that later. Actually, let me just analyze it from now because I want to see how it's moving. If I want to maybe have a late entry here. So we have a rejection from this point. Delete that. So we have a rejection from this point right here. We have the buy signal right here. Price broken, closed past the structure right over here. So it's an indication that price is going to continue up. You guys can see that the last time that happened right here, we had a rejection from this point. Buy signal right here. Price broken, close past the structure on this next candle right here. And then it pushed up to this next zone right here, right? So that'd be a nice little profit for about 183 pips right there. So it's the same thing right here. Like the same pattern just keeps repeating itself. Breaking close past structure right there. Another full TP off that for about 170 pips. And then again right here, price broken close past structure right here. So this is technically still active right there. It's technically still active, but it's going sideways. And that's kind of what I see happening. I see this pushing up higher and higher and hitting full TP, eventually. But, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how the market moves up until, next week to see if this continues on. So I'm going to look at the index real quick. I'm just going to pair the pound with the yen. BXY with the JXY. And you can see right here that they're both bearish, right? So with them both being bearish, we're just going to see this consolidate for a bit. It's just going to go sideways. And that's why I wouldn't enter this trade right now, because it's just going sideways. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see how these indexes end up moving, you know, once we enter London session. So that's it for GJ. Let's go on to GN real quick. Finish drawing these zones. Momentum indicator right there. All right. So the zones for GN. Let's move on to GU. All right, Joseph. So I'll take a look at this from scratch. This is one that you actually want me to look at. So here, I'll do this analysis from scratch. So basically, here's a naked chart right here for GU, right? It's nothing on the chart. First thing I do is I turn on the K2SR indicator. I draw my zones so we can identify, you know, these rejection points. There, and right there. We could probably merge these two because they're really close. Another one right there. And then lastly, this one up here. So looking at GU right here, we have some perfectly drawn zones for you guys. So if I zoom out from this point, you can see the patterns in price, right? So price broke structure right here, consolidated, pushed above here, retraced back down, and it just kept pushing up from this point, right? So from this point, it had a bullish move. It's just a stairwell. It just pushes up, higher highs, higher lows, pushes up all the way up here, rejection off this point, and then now it comes down from here. So we have a bearish bias now. Obviously, this move started from down here. You know, it broke out of that consolidation, established a low right here, and then it pushed up from that point. So now we're looking at a bearish bias. And just looking at this here, let me check this real quick. So, you know, after I mark this up for you, obviously this is kind of relevant at this point because price is now coming down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator to show you guys what I was looking for. So basically it's the same pattern that I've been showing you guys, you know, over and over again. So for example, right here, like I mentioned, it established a low right here. We had a buy signal right here. When price broke and closed past the structure, it pushed up to this next structure above here, right? So this would be a gain of, I don't know, like 160 pips right there. So about 40 pips if you pushed up to the structure. If you pushed up to the higher structure, about 65 pips. So with that said, you know, same pattern again right here. We have the rejection, buy signal right here, breaking close past structure right here, and then it pushes up to the next structure above here, right? So it's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. So again, right here, same thing, rejection, buy signal, breaking close past structure, pushes up to the next structure right here. So that's it for that bullish move. After that bullish move, now we have a bearish move right here. So we have a rejection from this point, and it's the same pattern going the opposite way. Rejection, breaking close past structure, sell signal, push down to here. And it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing I just showed you there, but going the opposite direction. So right here, breaking close past structure again, push down to here, retracement, breaking close past structure again right here, drops from this point, right? So right here, price broke structure, came down, looks like it's coming down again. So just looking at this here, Joseph, what I'm looking for here is I'm waiting for price to break below this structure over here. So when price breaks below this structure right here, it'll give confirmation that price is probably going to keep pushing down further to this structure right here. So if that happens, you can enter a short position and then ride this down there for about 80 pips or so. Right? It's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. Once it breaks into a new zone, it pushes down to the next zone. I wouldn't enter here because it already tested this zone right here. You want it to break below here for it to test this next zone down here. So we do have a bearish bias here. And the reason for that is because we have, you know, the rejection off the structure, sell signal, breaking close past structure. We just need to close below here for that full confirmation. So that's pretty much what I see happening for GU. All right, let's move on to the next one, NZD CAD. Take everything off the chart. Turn on the momentum, the K2SR indicator. Draw my zones for you guys right here. So we got one up there, one up here. So I'll be looking at some scalps after this, guys. So I'll look for some scalps before I log off today to see if there's anything that we can possibly enter before the market starts to pick up. I mean, the market's it's just too slow right now. So there's no entries that are really available because obviously we're just opening back up from the weekend. But if I do see something, I'll give you guys the parameters for that. Yeah, no problem, Joseph. Glad I could help. So that's it for NZD CAD. Oh, my bad, guys. All right, cool. So I got this marked up right here on the 4 hour. It looks like price has hit a double bottom right here, right? Just looking at NZD CAD. So we have a bottom right here that was established. And then it pushed up from that point. Again, right here, we have a bottom established right here. So one of two things can happen right here, guys. Price can either push up like it did previously. See, like it did over here. It can do that again, or price can break below here, and then it can continue dropping down further. So you can see right here, the last time it broke below, it ended up dropping right here. So there's a couple different scenarios that can play out here. Price can either reject off this point and shoot up, or price can break below the structure and continue down. So one or the other can happen, but like I mentioned, we want that full confirmation before we enter something like that. So nothing for NZD CAD right now. NZD CHF is right here. I'm gonna draw my zones real quick. And once this is done, we can start getting to the fun, guys. I'm kind of tired of drawing these zones. I just want to finish drawing these up, and then we can start looking for some possible scalps, which is, I'm sure, what most of you guys are here for, right? Most of you guys have been making a ton of profit off my scalps. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are just freeloading here, which is cool. I don't mind that. But, you know, obviously we have to do this heavy lifting for the Forex pairs before we get to the fun. So just keep that in mind. For you guys that are new here, because I do trade both. I still trade Forex. I just don't trade it as often. I mean, I still trade it often. I just don't trade it as it's not my main focus anymore, because we make so much more profit off US 30, where I just focus on that now. Like one US 30 win can cover like a whole week of FX trades for me, guys. So that's why I focus on that more. Maybe not a whole week, but, you know, something like that. Because we make so much profit off US 30. There's just like, it's just a no-brainer to you know, focus all of our efforts on that, or my efforts actually, because I'm pretty much doing all the work. So let me see. Looking at NZD/JPY right here, I'm gonna turn on the K2SRs. Mark up these zones real quick. Let's see what else we got over here. So I'm just gonna merge these here because these zones down here are kind of relevant. Like I mentioned, it's price is too far from these areas. All right, so NZD/JPY, I mean, it's just currently ranging within these two zones right here, this upper zone and this lower zone. So I think price is probably going to push up. Like I mentioned for GJ, it looked bullish, right? It looked like it was going to continue pushing up possibly. So if that happens, this is probably going to push up too. And I also was looking at AUD/JPY earlier. So looking at that there, it's the same pattern. Like here, AUD/JPY looks exactly like NZD/JPY. So if this pushes up, AUD/JPY is probably going to push up too. But all right, so let me just finish NZD/USD. I think there's a couple more pairs, like 3 more pairs, and then we should be good to go. And I can start looking for some scalps and answering more questions for you guys. Let me fix this right here. This one down here. All right, guys, so looking at NZD/USD, messy pair. You can see the big moves right here. So basically right here, I'm just waiting for this to close below this structure right here in order for me to take that sell. Until that happens, we're gonna be sitting tight. So NZD/USD, USD/CAD, and then I already looked at USD/CHF, so I'm not gonna reanalyze that. I analyzed that earlier for Naresh. I Anyways, let me just go to USD CAD. So if you guys want to go back and, pull these zones from what I drew, you guys can always go ahead and rewind the live stream. As you guys can see, I did these in order, and they're in alphabetical order. So I went from the Aussie pairs to the Canadian pairs, to the Euro pairs, to the pound pairs, to the NTD pairs, and now the USD pairs. So if you guys want to go back and copy my zones, you guys can. Obviously, it would be a lot easier if you just, drew them yourself using the K2 indicators, because these indicators are available to you guys. If you guys want to learn how to trade exactly how I do, because obviously what I'm doing works. So if you guys just want to mimic what I'm doing, the blueprints are available to you guys. Because if you guys have been sitting in on my live sessions, I do the same thing every day. So as long as you guys have the K2 indicators, you guys can mimic exactly what I'm doing and mimic not just my profits, but everyone else in K2s as well. So that's it for USD CAD. I'm not going to analyze these because there's just no point. The market's just opened. So if you guys want me to analyze them for you, I can do that. It's just, for me, there's no point, because if I analyze something tonight and then it moves totally different tomorrow, it's just going to be a waste of my effort to analyze something that isn't necessarily, valid at this point. Because you're going to see a lot of weird movements as market just opened from the weekend. All right, so UJ over here, we just need an upper zone. See if there's anything else here. Nothing on the daily. I'm just going to draw this zone here so that we can identify that as the recent structure. All right, so UJ is actually on the weekly resistance right now, right there. So this is actually good, because if price breaks this structure here on the weekly, so price is attempting to break this structure, right? Just looking at this point, if price breaks this structure and closes above it, then we can anticipate a really big push. So that's going to be good for us, right? So same with what happened here. If we turn on the momentum indicator, obviously we have a rejection from this, or rejection from down here, buy signal right here, pushed up from there. Let's see how many pips. Pushed up about 100 pips, right? About 80 pips to be exact if we measure it from the zone, but from the upper zone, well over 100 pips. So if price breaks and closes past the structure, we can probably take that buy for a big, big push up to here for a move of like 300 pips. So we'll keep that in mind. We're just waiting for that confirmation. So that's about it for the Forex pairs, guys. I'm gonna step away for 1 second and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Time to grab a drink real quick. All right, so I'm back here. Hey, Roman. Yeah, definitely. So Roman said, love the breakdown, man. Definitely. Glad I could help you guys. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, put them in the chat right now so I can take a look. Otherwise, I'm gonna start looking for some scalps. And if there's nothing to look at right now, I'm probably just gonna go offline. And then, obviously, this is just a chart analysis for the week, guys. My actual trading session starts tomorrow when the market is fully open. So, if your questions aren't answered here, I'm going to be live again in a few hours anyways, or not a few hours, but in about like 10 hours tomorrow morning, where I can answer your guys' questions there. But if you guys do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I can answer them right now. This is probably the best time for me to, there's probably, this is probably the best time for me to, you know, answer your questions because there's not much going on in the market. So you guys have, you know, better access to me answering your questions now rather than tomorrow during the live session. Because during the live session, I'm pretty much focused on scalping. Yeah, I'm sorry. I ate a freaking mint leaf in my water. All right, let me just check real quick. Rick said, how do you update the indicators? So you don't really, like, you guys wouldn't be updating their indicators, Rick. The only, like, you guys can't update the indicators because they're just there. But I mean, if you're talking about the settings, you can change the settings here. If you go to settings on the indicator, you can always change the settings there. I'm not sure what you mean by updating it, because there isn't really much. Or if you want to update to this new K2 momentum, you just need to refresh your chart. So just refresh the chart, and then once you refresh it, oh, sorry, let me just save that. Yeah, just refresh the chart, and once you refresh it, you know, once you have the indicator on your chart, it'll just update for you. And then if you don't have the updated indicator, you just click on indicators, go to invite only scripts, and then you can click on K2 momentum indicator or K2 proprietary trading system, which is going to be the momentum indicator. Let's see, JB said, hey, Shawn, thank you for, okay, gotcha, Rick. Yeah, no problem. JB said, hey, Shawn, thank you for going over these charts every week. I have a friend who is interested in paying for just the indicators on TradingView. Is that an option? So, I mean, if he just wants the indicators, JB, then he can just go on the website and just click on K2 strategy course. This is the only way to get the indicators. If you click on K2 strategy course, I don't know what he means by just paying for the indicators. Because I mean, that's basically what's included in here. Like if you click on this, unless he just wants indicators and he doesn't want the course or any of that stuff, I mean, just message me directly, JB, and we can figure something out. But it's not going to be a big difference. Like this is already extremely discounted, right? Like this is for this here, like what you get for this, for the actual course here. I mean, like literally, if you were to take this right here, you can see everyone's profits. I mean, literally everyone's is locking in, like per trade, they're locking in like so much more than, so if I go to the save messages here, let's see. Because if you guys are following the course here, this is like $200 a month, which is actually really cheap. Like a lot of people think it's expensive, but in reality, like this is only $200 a month. And you guys have seen everyone's profits here. Like literally like Deswell, you know, like one trade, he's locking in like 1,270. So yeah, exactly. Like what Rick mentioned, because $200 is very cheap, as cheap as it gets, right? Like Cheryl over here, she's locking in like 1,600. So I'm not going to lower the price for anyone, JB. Like if he wants to sign up, he's going to have to sign up through this, because like you're getting like there's like no, it's a no brainer, right? Coin over here locked in 320 with like one trade. There's just no reason for anyone, like for me to lower it. Like, you know, CT over here, one trade, 243. Like it covers your Steven over here, 499. You cover your subscription with one trade. You're literally getting this for free because you get your money back with one trade. The only reason I charge this for this is because I don't want like freeloaders to join K2, right? Like, you know, if you like, here's the thing, if you get something for free or if you get something for cheap, you're not going to take it seriously, right? That's how everyone is. Like if you get a free gym membership, you're probably not going to use it. But if you're paying $200 a month for a gym membership, you're going to use it, right? So I'm basically giving this indicator to you guys for free, because like Jonathan over here, he makes like 159 per trade. You know, Joseph over here, S&P 306. Oh, Joseph, that's you, bro. You're already in the group. I didn't realize you were in the group. So yeah, Joseph said, had a little understanding from your strategy while you explained it live this morning, tested it out myself, boom, $300. So you guys can see here, you know, like people are locking in profits like with one single trade. So I'm not gonna, I mean, you know, if I'm probably not gonna go any lower than this to just give the indicator, because literally this is basically, I'm just doing this to give you guys some incentive to take this seriously, because I can show you guys how to make this back. Like literally everyone in K2, I can show you guys how to make $200 with one trade or with a couple trades, right? Like Marcus over here, he just joined K2 and he like locked in $50. Well, he did it twice. He locked in like $37 and then $50 right here. So I can show you guys how to make the money. It's just, I don't want to be teaching people who are just going to be, you know, fucking around, right? I want people that are serious about their trading. If you guys are serious about your trading and you guys want to make money, this is everyone in K2. Look at Joe right here, locked in 1,700. Javier locked in 219. And he's not even taking my trades. Look, he's taking odd JPY, CAD CHF, GBP CHF. Javier is killing it, dude, like doing it on his own, you know, just applying the strategy on his own time. So like this cost right here is like, you literally make it back quickly. Like you're not gonna, like, if you guys need to make this back, I can show you how to make it back. It's just your incentive to actually take this seriously. Cause I just don't have time, guys. You guys can see that I'm super busy with my own trading. So I don't want to teach people who aren't serious about their trading, right? I want to teach people who actually are serious about it and want to make some real money. Because obviously, if everyone in K2 is profiting and you're the only person that's not profiting, you're probably doing something wrong, right? Because I have tons and tons of profits from everyone every single day. Like you guys can see the timestamp here, like February 26th, right in locked in 1,200. We go up to like February 23rd, right? Gauge over here locked in 5,000. We go up to like February 17 right here, right? I'm going to random dates here, guys. I'm not even pointing out any specific dates. Uncle over here, 2,000, right? So you guys can make profits daily trading with me. It's just, I don't want to teach people who don't want to, like, who think that this is like as easy it is, people still mess up, right? Like even though everyone here is killing it, it's not guaranteed that everyone's going to kill it. Like rolling over here, 2,000. I mean, literally I have lists and lists of people here who are profiting every day. So, yeah, JB, I mean, I'm not trying to be like a little dick here and like, not budge with you guys, but I'm just too busy. Like, I don't want to go and, take time away to teach someone or just give someone a discount just because, you know, just like whatever I meant with me having to teach brand new people. But yeah, no, JB, definitely. If you know, if you have any other questions or if there's anything else that you want to talk about, just message me directly. I can probably work something out with you. But so the main thing is people ask for that. They want just the indicators, right? But once they get the indicators, they're like, damn, I should just sign up for the course. And then it just becomes an issue because it's like, dude, you should have just signed up for the course in the first place. Because then, you know, people are going to want my support and they're going to want my mentorship. So just keep that in mind with your buddy. I'm not sure if your buddy, you know, is even interested in that. So going back to the chat over here, let me see if there's anything else for me to look at. Here, let's see. T-Got said, will you be live at 2? So I'm not going to be live at 2, T-Got. I'm going to be asleep because I have to be up by 6 or by 5 actually, because I got to scalp in the morning. So I'm not going to be up at 2, but I will be up at 6 to scalp the US session. Mark said, are all the Forex pairs traded on the 4-hour time frame? So it depends on you, Mark. I trade on the 4-hour, but you don't necessarily need to trade on the 4-hour. It's really up to how you want to trade. You know, you can trade on the 4-hour, you can trade on the 30-minute. It's just up to how you ever want to do it. Mark said, for the K2 intraday strategy, what time frame is best for Forex pairs? So that strategy is based off the 30-minute, Mark. So I think we had this conversation before. Like, you know, depends on what you want to trade, Mark. There's a bunch of different strategies that you can apply. But if you want to apply the intraday strategy, that's meant on the 30-minute. You can apply it on the 4-hour, but I can't guarantee it's going to work because that strategy is intraday. If you're trading 4-hour, this is no longer intraday. I mean, it's intraday, but if you're applying that specific strategy that you're looking at, it's not going to work the same way because you're basing it off these momentum signals, and these don't come up very often. So just keep that in mind, Mark. And it just depends on what your goals are, right? If you want to trade intraday, you should probably go on the shorter time frame. If you want to swing trade, then go on the higher time frame. But it's just going to depend on your trading style and what you're looking for. Let's see if there's anything else here. Nice. Yeah. Joseph said, yeah, joined last Thursday, made over 500, 600, just with very small lot sizes. Nice, Joseph. Yeah. If you guys are really consistent with your trading, like I've seen people here who trade with small accounts. Let me just check real quick. Like Tam over here. Tam, I mean, this isn't a small account, but she's like taking smaller lot sizes, right? Like a 0.02 on US 30. And she's suffering losses here for S&P and some few trades, but overall she's locked in 733, right? So you guys can trade these strategies with small lot sizes, or you can trade them with big lot sizes like Sisuk here. Like you can go from making 700 to 3,000, right? It just depends on how confident you are with your trading and, you know, how big of a lot size you can take. Like CT over here, I mean, he took some pretty fat lot sizes, but he made some pretty good profit off that. So you guys can see here in K2, there's a lot of people here that are profiting in both ways. You know, Tam over here is taking like a 0.05. She still makes like a couple $100. You know, while Mark over here is taking like a 2 lot and making even more. So it just really depends on, you know, how you want to trade. But yeah, like Joseph said, you know, he's been taking small lot sizes and he locked in, you know, 500 to 600 bucks. That's pretty good. Like Quinn over here, he took these buy entries for US 30. He only took a 0.03, but look at his profits. Like, see, you can see his confidence kind of jump up right here. He went from 0.03 to 0.05, and he just stacked like crazy. And this was on Friday on NFP. So just keep that in mind, guys. You guys can trade with small lot sizes. Like Steven over here, he traded with a smaller lot size here, but still locked in like some pretty decent profit. Same with Gerald over here, right? Gerald over here, he's taking a 0.01, but he locked in like over 100 bucks. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's possible that you don't have to have a huge account. You can also make profit with a small account as well. Darren's asking, how long will it stay open? It's probably going to close today, Darren. So if you guys don't sign up to the strategies over here, I'm probably closing this down pretty soon. Because like I mentioned, I just don't have time to teach you guys anymore. Like I'll teach whoever's already in K2, but I'm not trying to teach brand new people, right? Because I'm busy. I want to trade my own account. Because like you guys can see here, like, let me see. Cheryl is like killing it. Cheryl over here is locking in. Let me see what she locked in. So I'm just going to show you guys an example of why I want to focus on my trading, because people here are locking in way more than me. So if I go to Cheryl's profits, look, she locked in 13,000 that day, right? So she locked in 13,000, and look how much I made. Like I didn't make a little profit, but I didn't make 13,000, right? Like I made for the day. What did I make for the day? For that day, I made about 7,000, right? On my one account. So on my one account, I made 7,000, but Cheryl's over here making 13,000, right? So if the student's making more money than the teacher, what's the teacher going to want to do? I'm going to want to trade more and focus on my trading than teaching, because my student's making more money than me. So that's my main reason why I don't really want to teach. I'll teach whoever's in K2, but I'm not here trying to teach brand new people, because it just takes too much time out of my day to teach you guys how to trade like me, when I can just trade and I can just make profit on my own, right? So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to sign up, I know a lot of people here have been like, they just been dragging their leg, right? Every time I tell people I'm going to close it down, people don't sign up. They think it's not going to close. But once it does close, you're going to lose your opportunity. And there goes your opportunity. And you're not going to be able to learn what we're doing here. So just keep that in mind, guys. And I'm probably going to stop going on these lives for the public. I'm just going to be going live for the actual K2 members, because, you know, obviously I'm trying to help out my own people. If you guys aren't my people, then I'm still going to help you out. But people in K2 are going to have opportunity to make way more profit than everyone else that's in the public. But I'll probably go live for you guys in the public like twice a week. But for the rest of the week, I'm probably just going to be trading for, you know, the K2 members. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, this sign up window is probably going to close soon. You guys can see from the website, the trial already closed down. If you click on this, there's no more trial. It's full price, right? So once I take this off right here, you guys aren't going to be able to sign up at all. So just keep that in mind. So, you know, it's up to you guys if you guys want to take the opportunity. If not, it's fine with me, because we're still going to be profiting regardless. You guys will just have to watch from the sideline. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, let me look for some scalps, because I'm trying to take some trades on my own account. Let me see. All right, so looking at US 30 right here, there isn't really much to take at this time, but so if this ends up closing below here, I will be looking for some scalps. So yeah, I think that's it for these questions here, guys. I'm just gonna look for some scalps now, because I'm not really seeing anything for the Forex market right now. So basically for US 30, what I'm waiting for to happen here is I'm waiting for price to close below this structure, come back up, reject off the this area over here. And then when that happens, I'm going to go ahead and take my sell to catch this down this way. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for that. Once this happens right here, comes down, comes up, closes below here, I'll take a sell position from that point, and then I'll ride this down for about 500 pips. I think that's where our goal is, right? And that's pretty much it. So let me see if there's another entry down here. I'm just going to show you guys. So for the people here who are brand new, I'll show you guys what we're applying here. I mean, if you guys have been sitting in on my sessions, you guys already know how I trade. You guys know how I scalp. And this is pretty much how everyone in K2 has been, profiting, applying my scalp strategy. So I'll just replay it to here real quick, and then I'll show you guys, what we're applying here. So what I'm applying is the K2 snipe strategy. And if you guys have been around K2 for a while, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'll put the requirements right here. This is the K2 snipe strategy, which is on US 30 on the 10-minute time frame. And it's really simple. It's just two requirements. You just want to confirm wick rejection off K2 SR zone, or no, K2 pivot, any pivot, to confirm wick rejection off K2 SR zone. And then lastly, you just want to confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch candle body. So that's pretty much it. Once you have those requirements, you can enter the trade. So I'll mark this up right here for an example. So off this red candle right here, first requirement is confirm wick rejection off a K2 pivot, which can be any pivot. So you can see this wick right here is touching this green pivot. So that's going to satisfy the first requirement. The second requirement, you want to confirm a wick rejection off a K2 SR zone. So you guys can see right here, we have a zone, and this wick is rejecting off the pivot and the zone. Lastly, you just want to confirm that the wick rejection off the pivot doesn't touch the candle body. So for example, here, you just want to make sure this green pivot doesn't touch the body, which obviously it doesn't. It just touches the wick. So with that said, you can enter a long position right here. And then for our scalps, we go for a fixed TP. We only go for about 500 pips because we want to get in and out pretty quick and then hop into the next scalp. So with that said, if we have that all set up right there, we have this marked up, we let it run, and there you go, full TP in 10 minutes, right? Off that next candle. And then if you took this next entry, because there's two entries there, there's that red entry. If that hit full TP, there's another one right here, because this wick right here rejects off that same green pivot and the structure. So if you took two entries right there, that'd be a double TP right there for 500 pips. So that's the strategy that we're applying right here, and that's basically what we're looking for, off this current candle. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but when it does happen, we'll be ready to take that trade. Obviously right here, price is just bouncing around. That's the most recent entry for US 30. And this is what I mainly trade. I mainly trade US 30. If you guys look at all my profits here, the main thing I trade when I scalp is US 30, right? All of these trades, right? I trade the DAX too, but mostly US 30. So I trade US 30. This is my profit on that smaller account. And then I started the new 200K account for FTMO. And this is my profit off there. I mainly trade US 30. So you can see DAX 30, US 30. The only reason I trade the DAX 30 is because it moves exactly like the US 30. So if I want to trade Euro session, I'll trade the DAX instead of US 30. But if you guys go through all my profits here, the thing that I'm trading the most is US 30, right? If I go to a random day. So if I go up to like February 19th, right? If I go to February 19th, and I show you guys my profits right here. So I'm locking in profit off, and that's my test, obviously. But yeah, this is basically what I trade. I trade US 30. So you guys can see, if you go back to any of my profits, it's always going to be US 30. I have some losses, but I always bounce back with the wins, right, to balance it out. And that's generally what I trade. Obviously, you can apply this on any of the indices, but I personally trade it off. I just trade US 30. What I recommend, guys, is that you guys find one that you like to trade and just master it. Don't like trade like every single indice, because I'm sure you guys will see people trade like all these indices here, and they just end up flopping on all of them, right? Because they don't do it properly. For me, I found that US 30 is this is my specific asset that I like to trade, and this is what I've mastered. So just keep that in mind. But if you guys look at the results here, other members in K2 trade everything, right? Like Saquon over here, he's trading GU. I don't really trade GU. Steven over here, he trades OddCAD, DAX 30. You can apply the strategy on anything, right? CT, he applies it on NASDAQ. So, I mean, your options are unlimited. It's just, I recommend you guys just focus on one and then just master it. Like William over here, he trades Euro CHF, NZD CAD. Like he doesn't even trade, actually he trades US 30 down here too. But he trades all these other pairs here, and he does perfectly fine. So it just depends on what you want to trade, and you guys should just master it. Because for me, I'm good at US 30, so I stick to US 30. But I can technically apply this on anything. So let me just go down the rest of the indexes over here. Oh gosh, Darren. Okay, cool. Yeah, Darren. So if it does close, I know who you are, Darren, because you've been asking. So Darren, just message me and I'll open it up for you, or I'll give you a unique link to sign up because I know who you are. If you guys have reached out to me before and the window does close for the sign up, just reach out to me and I'll hook you guys up. Obviously, I know who you guys are, but if you guys are brand new and I don't know you, I'm probably not going to open it up to you because like I mentioned, I'm trying to help out my own people. And if you guys have been here on this live session before, you guys are part of my people, right? You guys are part of K2. So just keep that in mind. And, I'm here to make sure that all you guys profit, not just me, but everyone in K2. Because, we're starting a movement here, guys. Like literally, who else does this? Like if you guys can add, you guys go through any other trading group, who can show you profits from everyone in K2 every single, or anyone in those groups every single day, right? If you go in those other groups, you'll see like one person showing profit, like the person that owns a group, right? He's the only person profiting. But in K2 here, everyone's profiting, guys. It's not like people are profiting more than me. And like we really try to help everyone profit here. It's not just like one person that's profiting, or there's not just one person that we're giving attention to. Like literally, whenever people profit here, I save everyone's profits and I share them to the public because I want to show you guys that it's possible. It's not just one person that's profiting. It's like literally like the whole crew that's killing it every single day. So if you guys are brand new here, you guys have found the right group. Obviously I'm going to be here to help you guys out and profit with us long term. But yeah, let me check the rest of these indices real quick, and then I'll see if there's anything for us to take. So here's the Aussie 200 right here. I don't think I really see anything right now. Let me just check this real quick. Oh yeah, definitely, Darren. Yeah, I know I've seen you in the group for a while, so I definitely want to help you profit with us. I mean, I'm sure you've been profiting with us, just copying my trades, during the live sessions. But once you get the indicators, that's like the real game changer there, because you start applying the strategies on your own, and you don't have to really depend on me. I think that's the main thing right there. I think a lot of people find a lot of pride in like taking these trades on their own because this strategy is really easy. It's just executing. So here's Aussie 200. Like I mentioned, we're looking for the rejection off the pivot in the structure. We don't have one right here. So until that happens, there's not going to be anything for us to really to take at this time. Damn, look at the China 50. It looks like all the indices are kind of dropping right now. So looking at the China 50 here, I don't trade this, but some of our traders here from Singapore, they asked me to analyze this. And like I mentioned, this strategy works on anything. So if there's something that you guys want me to analyze, I can do it for you. It's just, you guys just have to ask. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are just scared to ask, but I'm not here to really judge. I'm here to help you guys out. So if you guys are scared, just ask, or have someone else in the group ask for you if you really are that nervous or asking. Because like literally here, guys, we're all here on the same goal, right? We're all here trying to profit from trading. And I don't hide the ball from you guys. I show you guys exactly what I do. I do it live for you guys every day. So I'm literally here to help you guys out. I'm not here trying to hide anything. I'm here literally trying to show you guys a blueprint to actually succeed at this. But yeah, nothing here for the Spain 35. Or actually, the market's not even open. The market's not open for the Spain 35 or for the French 40 yet. So let me check the DAX real quick. Damn, no entry from the DAX. See if there's anything else here. Yeah, no entry for the DAX right now. Price is just bouncing around. The market's not fully open yet. So everything is kind of just bouncing around at this point. So nothing for the DAX. Nothing for the say over here. Yeah, market's pretty slow. It'll probably pick up during London session. I know a lot of you guys like to trade the UK 100. So if you guys see any trades during London Open, you'll probably take those. But I'm probably not going to be online during that time. If I am, I'll give you guys some trades. But if not, which I'm probably not going to, because I got to get up early tomorrow for the the US Open. So nothing here for the Nisei. We're just looking for the same thing like I mentioned earlier, guys. We're looking for the rejection off the pivot and structure right here. So nothing off that. The UK 100, nothing off there either. S&P, nothing off there either. Let me check real quick. Yeah. Nothing there. NASDAQ. Yeah, good thing you didn't take that trade, CT. Like I was mentioning earlier in this session, so CT was looking for a buy here for the NASDAQ. I was mentioning that it's not a good buy yet because, the market's just choppy with everything reopening. So there really wasn't anything to take at this point. But if this ends up dropping below here, so just keep this in mind, guys. Like once the market starts to pick up during London session, which happens to open in about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, in about 4 hours. In 4 hours when London session opens, that's when we can start looking for some trades because that's when volatility is going to pick up. So what could happen here is price will come down. It'll come up, retest the pivot and structure around this area. And then with that said, we could probably take a sell entry and write that thing down from there. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there. But other than that, I don't really see much going on for that specific pair. US 30, nothing there. So yeah, guys, I just went through all of the indexes right now. I didn't see any trades or any scalps available. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and then I can take a look. Otherwise, I'm going to be logging off for the day, but I will be available on the Telegram. I just have like a bunch of emails to get through from the weekend. Let me check. Damn, okay. I got like 260 emails to get to. So I'm gonna have to get through all those emails. And then I also have to go through my Telegram messages from the weekend too. So if you guys have questions here on the live, just put them in the chat right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna log off for a bit and I'll be back tomorrow morning for the live trading session. But if you guys have questions, you guys can still reach me through Telegram. I just